And that's just because their names were kind of weird. But we should definitely get their names right.
So how's it going? Where we at?
We're still naming potato chips.
There's another way to go back. You have to hit X. Right there.
Right.
You have to.
And you gotta just be patient with it because the lag will.
Is it still lagging?
It's. I would say it's probably not as bad as it was the other day, but it is still lagging a little bit. Yeah. So like, there's not much.
Let's go. Let's try to do all this.
I'm going as fast as I can. And then seat 9 is open and seat 10 is.
7:20, 7:30.
So ultimately, here, and so when someone new comes to the table, we're going to. It's not today, but we are going to. Yes.
And then we need to adjust what the minimum. We're playing 5-5 now, so the min chip's gonna be 5. Just where I just changed. And then small blind is gonna be 5. Big blind is gonna be 5.
Them or Omaha or many of the number combinations, like the cards are going to be read over that particular square dot area. So when the player gets their hand, they're going to rub that. They're going to basically rub their cards over the top of that and just set it so that the action tracker that you can see on the left of your screen there in seat 1 that Carolyn's working out right now, it's going to be able to detect that a card and a hand has been read. Now, the action tracker is not exactly going to show you what cards those are, but it's going to verify that the cards that are going over that are actually being read. So, yeah, and so now you see the dealer there, James, in front of the box, is holding a cut card in his hand. To his left and to his right are these little squares there. Now, these are. I mean, I think my volume's here on the left side, so like if it doesn't necessarily come through like as I'm saying it. It's kind of like a delay to portion of it. So, but at least I recognize.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah.
Don't say it. Just listen.
Okay. All right. Test 1 2 2 test 1. There, I can hear myself. All right, everyone. Welcome here to our test broadcast of TCH Live.
I can hear, I definitely know that this is doing something, but
I don't know if that's way too loud, though. So we are working on the sound-wise, working on training all of our producers to all the little details that go into making a high-quality broadcast. That's what we're aiming for here on TCH Live. Happy Monday to you. I know that's kind of ironic. Nobody ever says they want to be happy on a Monday, but you can be. That's your choice, man. And we're going to be thrilled to see what we're in store for us this evening. Let's see how many ways are going to be going with this. We have about 7 players in our dealers versus staff versus managers, 1K cap cash game. All right. From the Felt podcast.
There's going to be a set of procedures for players at this table. That's going to get published. But really, the only thing different is probably no phones like during live productions. There's automatic tracking, all be okay, but it's going to be the same rules we have over there.
Wouldn't it be easier if I
And then obviously we're going to hold you guys more accountable to protect not damage the cars. So like there's a player that's just one of those guys that's turning it 90 degrees.
Doesn't know how to look at their cards.
Yeah.
We'll teach them how to look.
Yeah.
We just don't want to repeat a Stones procedure.
No problem.
Okay, are we ready to go? Okay. Welcome everyone here to TCH Live. Our Monday Madness here with our Texas Card House staff. Joined here in our test broadcast and presentation. And, well, I mean, I know a lot of you have wondered, but for most of us, it's like, okay, well, who here has game? And our staff's going to get the chance to get together here and see who's got the goods. Looks like we're going to be playing 5-5. All stacks at roughly about 1,000. And Sam will have the $10 straddle as Tim's going to call here for 10 as come along with the King of Clubs and 10 of Spade. Chris here in seat 2 calls with the 10-7 of Clubs. And we'll get a raise on the button from Asa. And he's got the 7-5 of Spades. Always good for a raise in position. See how many ways we go here to the flop as for the opening hand of this session.
Button raised to 30. 6 players.
Looks like we're going to have about 5 players. Delia's going to be first to act as soon as we get our flop out. And she's got the best hand with ace-9 offsuit at this point in time. And everybody else is coming along here for the ride. See if they can hit a jackpot here on the flop. So. We are going to be just about ready to rock and roll. And if you want to follow us on Instagram, you can certainly do so here for Texas Card House Austin, tch.atx. Give us a follow on Instagram. And here comes our first flop of the evening. Jack 10, a 3, 2 clubs. A huge flop for Chris, who's got a second pair and a club flush draw. Tim's got the best hand though with a pair of 10s and a king kicker. Actually, check that. Kirk with the Jack 6. Tim's going to give a look up here with second pair, and Chris with a pair and a flush draw. And we'll go 3 ways here to the turn. About $555, and boom, trip jacks on the turn here for Kirk. Kirk's going to play it slow. Checked all the way around here to the river. See if it pays off for him. As going to be a 3, board double pairs. Jack's full here for Kirk. And he's going to lead out here on the river here with a bet of 300. And Tim's got to kind of decide here, okay, is he betting like a missed flush draw? He could have a hand like king, queen, 8, 9, queen, 9, all those kind of combinations. And Chris is going to give up his hand, and Tim's going to see Kirk there with the old Jack 6 offsuit, and Jack's full to take down our first pot here of TCH Live, the Dealer Showdown Monday Madness. Kirk will take the first hand as you'll see the chip count there on your screen. Everybody's starting with roughly 1,000. As we replicate our 5-5 game, we've got floor managers, we've got dealers, we've got front desk staff, we've got all portions going at it here in No Limit Hold'em, and Kirk off to a roaring good start in the first hand. A lot of action going on in the main room as well. 3 tables of 1-2 no limit going on, and also a 1-3 game. And the beautiful part about that 1-3 game is you buy in for 500, and you can also match the big stacks. So you get a lot of chips in play in a hurry. And if you want to get on the list there, give us a call here at Texas Card House. And phone number to call the front desk, 512-956-7195. We've also got a 3K guaranteed $150 buy-in tournament tonight that we run on every Monday. If you want to sign up for that tonight, that's going to be going in just about 15 minutes. And if you're feeling hungry as well, we've got Texas Roadhouse coming here and fill you up with some sliders, some good hamburgers, some chicken, all wrapped up and good for you here at Texas Card House tonight on a Monday. Can you believe it, folks? It's 2019 coming to an end. We're heading literally to 2020, so we're going to be looking at the next decade here for potential broadcasts here on TCH Live. And we're starting off 2020 the right way with Chris Moneymaker coming in with his series starting on January 3rd, Friday. It's going to be hosting a 5-5 and a 1-3 no-limit cash game. Saturday, if you want to get some tournament action in, a $15K guaranteed re-entry for $150. Again, a prize pool guarantee of $15K. Sunday, the No Limit Hold'em Mega Stack $100 buy-in on January 5th. Also a $200 bounty and a t-shirt if you're able to knock out Chris Moneymaker. And good luck to you. And Monday on January 6th, Moneymaker is going to be hosting a 5-5 PLO game. And also the last day of the Moneymaker series, a January 7th Big O and Mixed Limit cash game. Now we move on here to our next stand. James behind the box, so toss out everybody 2 cards, and off we go here to the next hand. First 2 positions getting out of the way. We'll go to Chris, who's going to open it up to 20. The old King Jack of Spades. And Ace is thinking here. Ace out with a 3-bet up with Jack 10 offsuit. Kirk in the button will call in position with the Queen 9 offsuit with Queen of Clubs. Sam also going to mix it up here with the 8-5 as King Jack, a small favorite before we come out here to our flop.
We have to manually fold every hand.
505 in the middle. We'll see how we turn out here. 8-6-5. Sam with top pair and an inside straight draw. And going to be the first one to act to called out of the big blind. Got 3 players behind, and she's going to go ahead and lead right into it. About a half the size of the pot bet at 230. Chris, the initial raiser, looking at 2 over cards. And he's going to give up the hand as see if everybody else comes along here, as there's really not a draw for anybody at this point. I mean, any of the players that are in position now could sit there and say, okay, I'm going to try to make a play at this. And turn's going to come a 10 of hearts, top pair here for Raisa. Also turns a heart draw with it. Sam, the lower flush draw. Also has still an inside straight draw to a 7. And Ace is going to shove all in and protect his hand. As bet of about 615, and that's kind of an easy decision here for Sam. As I think she has a little better draw with it, or a better kicker with her 8. Just kind of give a little more thought to it, but there's a lot of hands that can put her into trouble. That okay, you can kind of give that one up if you're not feeling too good about what's happening on the turn. So.
Carolyn, does it automatically go to the next hand when the last one?
There's a button that says next hand.
Next hand here tonight, a 5-5 no limit.
But it knows when all the cards have been collected, so it doesn't break you out of hand.
Had a new promotion going to be ready to come on here for January. A progressive savings here for our members that you're going to get 1% off, and if you're playing 10 hours straight, that's 40% off your daily membership fee or your hourly fee here at Texas Card House. So, all right, next hand. Kirk going to raise it here in the cutoff for the old 9 and 7 offsuit. Delio's going to call in position with ace 9. And we will go 5 ways. Here with 150 in the middle. Then our flop, 5-4 deuce. That's going to be top pair here for Chris with a king kicker. I think he's got an inside straight draw. And it's going to call right behind. See if Jeremy with overcards makes a play at this, and he's going to raise it up here to 205. Now, either sensing that nobody could have made much of a hand here, or going to try to represent that he's got something to... And he's going to stick down a nice pot, really, with nothing. Heads up play there by Jeremy. So the board texture comes out 5 high. It's kind of feel like any of your other players in the hand don't make a pair that it's a safe enough board to take a shot at, and able to pick up on some weakness and take down a nice little pot here. Chris now here with a $10 straddle. Kirk. Here with the king of 9 offsuit. Gonna make the opening raise here at 25 as Jeremy electing not to 3-bet here, just gonna call him in position with ace queen offsuit. And we'll go 5 ways here to a flop. And the flop comes queen 9-7, 2 spades. Jeremy a strong favorite right now with top pair and an ace kicker. Kirk with second pair with a king kicker. And Sam's got bottom pair with a king. Gonna bet 130 as it's check to her. Jeremy just gonna call here out of position. Exercises some pot control here, and it's a draw heavy board. Gonna take a look and see what happens on the turn, and
Make sure you rotate the camera at the time that you saw it on.
and it comes an 8 of spades. As Kirk the only one with a spade in his hand with a 9 of spades, and Sam's gonna check back here on the turn as bring out a river comes the 8 of diamonds. Right now, Jeremy's still with the best hand. He's going to lead out here with a bet of 210. And going to get called and shows his pair of queens, 2 pair with an ace. Kirk not even sweating it right there. A nice value bet there on the river there by Jeremy that it's a scary board in the sense that the flush gets there, that you've got any number of straight draws that could have potentially hit, but had a good idea where he was out of the hand, that, you know, if nobody had bet the turn, that it was a pretty good bet that is hope that the top pair with the queens is likely going to get called by a worser hand, and well done by Jeremy. And for his efforts, he's going to have to come and deal. Step out of his seat and get a feel for the cards. Got a lot of members here today enjoying 50% off their hourly promotion that we've run here through the month of December for 50% off your hourly rates. And boy, we had a heck of a lot of people here this afternoon. As always great to be in the box, and you got people kind of on vacation in between that time, between Christmas and New Year's, where you don't even know what to do with yourself. You want to stay up until 5 in the morning? Do you? The possibilities are endless for a lot of folks at this time of year as we wrap up 2019. As Deli is going to raise it up a 3-bet here to 60 with the ace-4 of hearts. Tim going to look away with the jack-6 as clubs. See if ace decides to get frisky here with the old 5-3 as we'll go to a flop of queen, jack-10 rainbow. Neither player getting part of it, and whoever decides to make an aggressive stab at this is likely going to get it. And you got to bet a pair of 4s on the turn and take it down. As
Even in that scenario where he folded, just still an asking map on the raise. Because it won't give me the option to fold him unless he's facing a bet. And I have to put him in.
well, if you're a Twitter person, I highly advise you to give us a follow on Twitter at Texas Card House. There's a lot of stuff out there on that Twitter thing, so I just want to remind our viewers to be cautious. Get yourself in a weird echo chambers. Just follow Texas Card House. You get the good news. So. If you want to give me a follow, certainly on Instagram and Twitter, you can follow at HoopsMike. I think we'll try to do our best to promote some of our players' social media if they do want to be found. an opening raise here by Kirk to 15 with 10-8 offsuit. Dilly's going to call here with ace-3 of spades. Is not really seen any premium hands just yet.
Well, let me see what it does right now, so go ahead.
And we're going to go to a flop 4 ways.
You're gonna have to bring that flop down. It's not reading it off.
And we'll read the board, king of diamonds, 7 of diamonds, 5 of clubs.
So you can fold them. They're not.
Nobody has made a pair. Ace-3. Both in the lead, and we'll check around here on the flop. Turn comes a deuce of diamonds, and Ace has made a pair of ducks, but Chris going to lead out here with a diamond draw and an inside straight draw to a wheel. Kirk more than happy to speculate here in position, and out here having some fun this evening. They're going to bring out a jack of diamonds on the river. Perfect card here for Chris, and he makes a bet of about 75. Gets called and shows his flush. Kirk can't believe it. This 8 of diamonds, no good there on the end. It's a tragedy, I tell you. You know, that's. I think you got a guy in a tough spot, and he shows you the best hand.
Oh, hang on.
Well, our first hands of the 3K guaranteed $150 tournament are just getting underway here at Texas Card House North in Austin.
Dealer hold. Just, yeah, I think.
Want to come up here to Northwest Austin and sign up. Get you right on in a pretty good tournament here this evening. 3 tables of 1-2 no limit also being run right now, and a 1-3 no limit game also going with 5 people on the wait list eager to be a part of the action here tonight at Texas Card House. Seven deuce game not in effect here as Sam will give that hand up. James now going to raise it up to 30 with the queen 6 of clubs. Tim calls behind with the jack 8 of diamonds. They were the best hand that we've seen here, I think, this early evening with a pair of 8s. And electing not to isolate. Yeah. Yeah, and what a huge flop there is. Dilly going to flop a set of 8s. James has got a queen high flush draw. Kirk's got a hand as well. We don't have his hand read, but I'd venture to guess he probably has a king if he's hopping along by this point. But nope, I was way off on that. 6 deuce of diamonds. Either looking for a backdoor flush draw or maybe he feels like he can make a move on the pot if somebody shows some weakness. They're going to be checked around. We'll bring out the jack of hearts on the river. And a value bet is James really with nothing to call. If he wants to try to win this one, he's going to have to make a big bet. And I can't expect that he's going to be able to do that. And give it up. And a nice pot of about $1,200 being shipped the way of Elliott, and ought to give her a little pep in her step here for this evening. A flop is set. And we'll move on here to our next hand as the Jeremy and James team are up a cumulative $565 in this session. As you see your winners and losers thus far. Ellie and Asa also up here earlier in the early goings. And we've got a $10 straddle here with Sam as James will be first act, and I imagine with King 10, he's going to be right on in there. See if somebody could tap James on the shoulder and tell him it's his turn to act. There he goes. As we await the action here on TCH Live, we'll see if
Kirk and his 6 deuce on
Yeah,
the last
I
four.
flopped
Nothing.
I flopped.
I think we're waiting to get everybody back at the table. And, you know, that's the nice part about that. A nice little courtesy being shown. Want to make everybody part of the game. But they might have actually had to handle some business as we look at our initial look as some unsuited aces. We've got a pair of 6s by Chris. And as we get ace back here on the table is... And our opening raise here to 30 by James. Off the under the gun. Tim's going to give up his queen on offsuit. He's a better man than I. And we'll have a 3-bet here by Chris with the 6s. Then we'll go 3 ways. Pair of 6s, a slight advantage. Here as we go to our flop. Queen of hearts, 8 of diamonds, 2 of hearts. Chris still out in the lead here with a pair of 6s, and no real draws for either players. And just like that, a couple of chips being sent right his way. I see a lot of players get mixing it up here. Tim playing the tightest and playing only 25% of the hands, and has voluntarily put into the pot 85% of the time as has put some money in. As Kirk has come to play, he's come to gamble, and I like his no fear right now. Not going to be pushed around. We'll have a dead small blind as move on here to the next hand at 5-5 no limit, a $10 straddle by James. Sam's got 10s in the big blind, and see if she ups the price of poker, maybe goes for a trap. Probably about a 50 coming here. A little bit more than that is, yep, he'll raise it 50 more. Up to 60. James getting out of the way, and Tim wisely makes a fold. Chris going to call on position, and also Kirk there with Queen 3 of hearts. Can't fold that, guys. And an all-in bet here. No draw for either player. And going to take down a $145 pot out of the big blind with the best hand we've seen. Pair of 10s. See James, Asa, and Elliott also. The best start here this early on session.
You can tank for like 3 minutes. You know, tank for like 3 minutes. And let me just tank for a minute.
As we move on here to our next hand, a 5-5 no limit. And I know you enjoy Texas Card House Live, you enjoy playing here at TCH. What about when you're away from here? How can you get that Texas Card House experience? Well, you can go listen to the From the Felt podcast over 17 episodes at this point since this started in August. You talk to Bill, Sam, and Ryan as they talk to poker professionals here throughout the state of Texas, visiting and otherwise, so with members of staff. and a really good way to stay in the loop as to what's going on here at Texas Card House. So go to wherever you subscribe to podcasts, either through iTunes or through the Apple Store. Leaving us on Spotify as well. Your next flop, Queen of Clubs, Nine of Spades, Four of Hearts. Jeremy with the lead with a pair of nines, but a little bit vulnerable. Shit, that's James. Go heads up here to the turn, over cards, and an inside straight drop. Boom! There it is. Goes check, check. Here to the river, pair of fives. So that makes nines and fives. Bad news for Dan Grimes fans is James has fallen for it. He's making a raise, and gotta see. Oh no. The old nine of king straight. And that's kind of the risk that you have with a hand like 9-5 is that, you know, your board is so, you're put in kind of a weird spot if you do make a two-pair hand that, you know, it's still vulnerable in some spots. And, you know, there's a situation where, you know, because Sam makes a check there on the turn, it can easily really look like, you know, maybe that's a queen eight, a queen jack, a king queen. It could be, you know, a misdraw. It could be a one pair hand that, you know, raising for value is not the worst thing in the world, but, you know, it just kind of so happened James ran into the buzzsaw. So, you know, trying to look to raise for value there and just ran into a better hand. Jeremy the box directing the action here for us. TCH Live, Carolyn Hapgood. Also working the production side as all of our staff having a hand in it and a terrific job out of the gates. Yeah, I've worked in broadcasting for about, you know, 17 years at this point. And, you know, to put all of these things together is not an easy endeavor whatsoever. There's a lot of headaches. There's a lot of things that kind of troubleshoot here from here to time, but we've got a great collection of people that have brought this together, and really, really excited about the potential that we have. And I'm excited about the potential of Chris's three deuce of hearts here. Let's see if he can flop something here. So he'll get bottom pair of deuces, but ace with top pair of eights with a 9 kicker. And he's got to bet 60 here on the flop. Real small bet there, and Chris will come along as here with his bottom pair and a 3 kicker. Potential backdoor heart draws. But not there, though, with the queen of diamonds on the turn. See if ace continues, and we'll bet with the best hand. A bet and a call here, 125. Pot has grown to 560. Oh, there it is. Two pair here for Chris, and there's no way to ace it for him to be able to pick this up. That, yeah, 3 looks pretty harmless, and sorry, I saw your 8's not good as Chris gets a little chuckle that, hey, my primo hand made it here in the end. Can I get on a list for this cash game? I mean, this is it's a lot of action here thus far, right? Yeah, I know my job here is to be the commentator, but so far nobody disappointed. They're coming here ready to play this evening. Ace is going to have the $10 straddle here in our 5-5 cash game. Kirk going to come out with a raise. And also gets the cards over the reader. Great job, Kirk. raise it up out of the straddle to 75 with the king jack of clubs, and James thought about it there in position with king 7. Price of poker just a little too high, and Chris gonna call out of the big blind with ace 6 offsuit, the ace of clubs. Kirk with the king jack of clubs here, heads up. Flop comes jack, deuce, jack. It's Chris's world, and we're all living in it, folks. Or excuse me, Kirk's world, we're all living in it. Turn comes to deuce, jacks and deuces, and Chris got to feel pretty good. It's like, hey, I got ace high here, and he quickly makes a call. Drawing stone dead, and because Kirk has shown so much action here that Chris is gonna sit there and go, well, I got ace high. This has got to be great, and that's part about being an action player. Sometimes you flop hands, sometimes you pick up hands too, and when it can flop and turn as big as that, it pays off pretty nicely. And Kirk will recoup some of his losses and scoop a nice pot of $1,200. Elected to try to run it twice, but you can run that one about 5 to 100 times, and wasn't going to change the results. A nice hand here by Kirk. No Monday Night Football here, and that's one of the funner parts of working in a place like Texas Card House. If you're a sports fan, we've had the Sunday ticket all year. We've got college football playoffs happening. We've got all the bowl games. So there's really nothing like being in a place here in the card room with all the TVs around that you can keep up with all the action of the NBA and hockey. Got people that really love to watch tennis and golf. And all you got to do is tap a floor manager and say, hey, get this on my TV, and we're more than happy to oblige. And Chris is going to have queens on the button. Sam's open with a small raise with the old 7 deuce. I think we've got to get the button here in another spot, but Kirk's also got ace jack, so he's not going anywhere unless we see a significant 3-bet by Chris. And it looks like about a 3-bet of 105. And Kirk's going to shove all in. Loves his ace jack here, and I don't think Chris will pay any thought to this and quickly calls. Riverboat Kirk here has come to play, and he's run into a hand here. Pair of queens to the hole for Chris. The heads up all in. King on the turn. Queen's still good. And a 7 on the river, and queens will ship it all as going to run 2 boards, it looks like. Oh, set, but still a draw. And Chris stands in triumph. A pair of queens on the first board, a set of queens on the first board, on the second board. It's good to be Chris here, as his chip stack will go up to $1,900 here on this session. This is Queens hold up here on Monday night. But what did you think about that last play? You can reach out to us here in the chat box, here on YouTube or on Twitch. You can tweet us at Texas Card House with your reactions. If you have any questions for us here technically, as to how this whole operation works, we want to hear from you. Tweet us at Texas Card House. As our cash game will continue here on Texas Card House Live. We are about 5-handed here at this point, a 17th hand of the night.
No, it's a straddle from James. Sam is the big blind. Call.
Kirk has rebought into the game as we get his chip stack. He's will give a call at 5 with a 10-5 offsuit.
5 players.
James with the straddle here was 6 deuce, and you know I always like it when junk goes all together here 5 ways. It's the game gets a little bit more unpredictable, the action a little harder to understand, but well, we've got a couple of inside straight. Well, we've got an open-ended straight draw by Chris, an inside straight draw by James, and Lord knows what else here at this point. Pair of kings now for Sam and way out front. And the 9 of hearts keeps her in control as nobody with a flush draw out there, but and lead out a bet of 200. And husband-wife battle here. We'll see if Chris is going to be sleeping on the couch or it's going to need an ace or a 6. Does not get it. Sam with 3 of a kind. And Chris staying off the couch here tonight. He's really having the best night of all of us. And that's kind of a fun thing, too, here at Texas Card House. We just see couples. We see married couples come in and play. Sometimes get on the same table. A little bit of trash talk going on. I mean, it's always by the wives, not by the husbands. They would never be that foolish. You know. But it's a really good activity for fun, especially if you want to come out and play a tournament. Say, you know, you're not as super experienced in a poker, and you know, I really would recommend coming out to our free roll tournaments that we run on Wednesdays and Saturdays. Your first entry free when you enter the free roll, and any additional 10,000 chips you can rebuy up to 5 times for $20 each. Chris racing with the 6-4 offsuit up to 15, and we'll go 3 ways. Sam out in front with the king-queen. James in there with queen-9, and he flops them all here with the second pair and a decent kicker. Inside straight draw for Sam and 2 overs. And a quick call here by James. To the turn. Ooh. 2 pair down for James. Top pair and an inside straight draw. Sam's hand got a little bit better, but still behind. And here comes the next. Jack on the river counterfeits. Sam's made the best hand with queens and jacks and a king. Struggles continue here for James. Yeah, I think both those players played that one fine. It's just one of those things where, yeah, poker is a game like this where you can overanalyze it to death. You can go through all the different scenarios as far as like, could have done this, could have done that. And it's like, you know, sometimes the game is simply is just as much of, you know, the board comes out the way it does and it's just played out. And that was just a situation right there where, you know, both players had a right to be in the hand, and sometimes that Mino River changed things in a beat as new dealer on in as this game down to about 5-handed here. You get down a little bit more short-handed, those hand ranges start to open up a little bit more. You need a lot less super quality hands to come away with the winner, and I think that really favors Kirk, who's shown no fear of folding anything, and gonna raise up to 30. Sam on the button with 5-4 offsuit as Jeremy will let this one go. James gonna take a seat change.
Put them back, it should all be automatic. It'll automatically know that there's a missed line, it should. I had a feeling you were on a draw of some kind there.
And we're back here on TCH Live. My name is Mike Youngblood, joining you here on the call of our live stream, our Monday Madness, our Dealers Challenge, Dealers versus Staff, all trying to battle out to who can win the most chips in this cash game this evening. And floor managers are getting after it here early on. As you saw some of the chip stacks there. Carolyn joining the game now. 5-handed, 5-5, no limit. Has seen the straddle on just about every hand thus far. As I'll take you back here to the action. As and it looks like how many ways we're gonna go here. Salmon made the raise initially to 30, and three players with diamond combinations in their hands. Chris with the 7 deuce of diamonds, Tim with the king 6 of diamonds, and Sam with the ace 9 of diamonds. And flop's going to come out king 9, jack, 2 clubs. Aces got an open-ended straight draw. excuse me, that's not a. Well, what was formerly Ace's seats, now Carolyn going to lead out and bet. Jeremy's going to call here with a 10-7 as James with top pair here and the best hand, but going to keep the pot small and call here in position here with 7-5. See what the turn looks like, as Carolyn looking for a queen or a 7. Jeremy's blocking one of those. And the turn comes to 9. And James makes a great bet here. Shoves all in as it gets checked to him. About a pot-sized bet as he makes it is. And I see if Carolyn decides to look him up here, but just a shade under an all-in bet, it looks like. Carolyn's here to gamble here. Feels like her hand's still live and gonna give a call is Jeremy will get out of the way. We'll go heads up here to the river. And there's a queen. A 9, a king straight. Here for Carolyn. Somebody give James a hug. I think he's having a pretty bad session here. He's had some better hands than some of his opponents. But nothing, an ice cold beer wouldn't cheer you up, but unfortunately James is working, so we'll keep that off the side. But if you want to come down here to Texas Card House, it is BYOB. So if you've got something special that you want to have down for the rest of the night, we've got refrigerators here in the house as well. So you can keep that nice and cool and share that here with your friends. Do encourage you to drink responsibly. And most people here do a really terrific job of that, so we don't worry too much about it. But you come here to Texas Card House here on a Friday night, and guys are having a good time. Yeah, it's dinner, just you kind of smile a little bit just because you're getting to take in quite an experience from a lot of really interesting people that play here. $10 straddle by Sam. Jeremy's going to call with the 8-7 of diamonds. Reasonable. James looking to get some more chips here as Chris going to raise it up on the button to 65. Carolyn will get out of the way. Kirk thinking. This is not for me, man. And we'll go 3 ways. Nobody makes a carry pair. Chris out in front. The pair of 3s, an ace, queen high, and he'll make a bet to 200 on the button and take it down. Sometimes the game is easy as just that. You make a raise and make a continuation bet, and the chips are all there. He's got about 1,400. About 20% of the chips in play. We'll move on here to our next stand. Only no limit hold'em here tonight. I think the hope is we'll still have plenty of Omaha hands and streams in the future. It's a really fun game to break down, especially as you see the whole cards and see all the number of different combinations. A lot of trash out there here now on this board. Kirk's got king queen offsuit, and see just how much pedal to the metal he puts here as with a $10 straddle on. Chris gonna call the jack deuce offsuit. Carolyn's going to make a raise here with queen 5 of clubs. And Kirk does move all in here with his king queen and in pretty good shape. As Chris going to do him a solid, gamble along with him here with a 250. Carolyn's going to get out of the way, so heads up between Chris and Kirk. He's live, though.
What a difference plugging the circuit.
It's about a 3-1 favorite. Flop comes king 6-3. Turn of 5, a straight draw. Just misses the pair of kings here on the first board here for Kirk. Chris is enjoying this. King queen still good here as they go to the second board, and ace on the river. That, my friends, is what we call a scooper duper. As Kirk. Oh, check that. We're going to third board. Yep, there you go. King queen survives all 3 boards against the vaunted jack deuce offsuit. Kirk pleased, and it should be. Anytime you can win all 3 boards in a pre-flop all in, you know everything's going their way. He's gonna try to re-chip up. As earlier on in the session, I lost most of his chips there to Chris, shoving ace jack offsuit all in to a pair of queens, and Chris just about beat him into the pot. As ran it with 2 boards. And shipped it all. As Carolyn's got the most chips in play at this point here with 1,800. James with just 5 big blinds, $25, and gonna lay off here. Get your rally caps on here for James, folks. Let's see if we can run those chips back up as Carolyn comes out firing. A raise to 55 with the king jack of spades. As Kirk's taking this seriously. Here comes the 3-bet, and re-raise to 225, just about half his chips in. And he's got our old friend pocket aces. Nobody will see this one coming here. As Chris will move along, and we will go heads up here to the flop. King jack versus a pair of 1s, a pair of aces. And oh no. Carolyn has flopped a king high flush. Kirk is pretty much drawing dead. Carolyn just shaking her hands like, oh, sorry there, Kirk. You're in pretty rough shape. Set of aces. It's actually kind of hurts Kirk as
No, oh, just turn him river.
leaves only 1 ace if he needs to redraw on any other boards, but and that's the thing we're getting kind of familiar with here with our RFID technology is, yeah, you see that Texas Card House right there in the middle of your screen. Well, the scanner there for the RFID exists right above that that lettering of Texas Card House. So, you know, in order for us as dealers, as staff, to make sure these cards are read correctly and in such a way that you know, we can bring you the best, highest viewing experience. We're all just kind of getting a look to see, you know, how all of this works. And Tim doing a pretty good job behind the box.
save your chip count
Ask
right.
Asa what your chip count is currently.
Working on our chip counts right now. Is all of that information's edited through our action trackers, so as these pots happen in real time, it's calculating where the money's going. The cameras are following along with the action, and the commentators like me are just trying to keep up and keep you laughing, folks. I feel like I gave you a couple of chuckles. The night has been a huge success, and so far we've got really a lot of nice things being said as far as how this stream went on the first time around. Is never had the opportunity to broadcast poker. I've broadcasted a number of different sports over the years, and that it was just incredible to just do this for the first time and understand the challenges that come along with it. And not a bad word's been said. I'm sure there's somebody out there had a problem with something, but for the most part, an overwhelming success here out of the gates. And boy, this is. Puts a little pep in your step every day knowing to get to be a part of this. Is we update our chip counts, make sure all that information is accurate before we move on to our next hand. Got our Chris Moneymaker series coming up here after the new year, a 5-5 no limit game, also a 1-3 no limit cash game happening and being hosted by Chris Moneymaker himself Saturday, January 4th. We've got a $15K guaranteed re-entry tournament, $150 to buy on in and face off against Chris Moneymaker. And on Sunday, another tournament happening, a $100 buy-in, no limit hold'em mega stack. You can also earn a $200 bounty and a t-shirt if you're able to take out Mr. Moneymaker. Chris also going to be hosting a 5-5 PLO game Monday the 6th. And on the 7th, a Big O and mixed limit cash game happening as well. And part of the reason why we do this too is, to make sure that we're all ready for that point in time once we get into next week and break down the action, promote Texas Card House. And going to be really excited to see Chris Moneymaker here in the building.
They don't have the same texture as the other cards. Less pressure, I think. Yeah, that's it. Well, you have to be real gentle with it. The main thing is the felt doesn't have any. Well, between that and the card is so slick.
So we'll move on here to our next stand.
You're welcome, Asa.
I think we're also switching up dealers here as, again, if you're hungry for food, we've got you covered at Texas Card House. Rudy's Barbecue on Saturdays. A full spread there of brisket, turkey, sausage, cream corn, potatoes. It's really tough to walk away hungry on Saturdays if you come here for the free roll tournament. 2K guaranteed that tends to happen. Outside of this, that will not be happening this Saturday, but as far as the tournament's concerned, Rudy's will always, of course, be here. Tonight we've got Texas Roadhouse, sliders, chicken, pork, burgers. Wednesday is pizza night through Papa John's. And I think Friday's also pizza night as well. Always try to keep you fed, try to keep you happy here when you're in the house of Texas Card House. So is our floor and staff. Take a little breather here. Now, why don't we take a breather right here as well as we'll go to break here on TCH Live, our Monday Madness Dealer Battle Royale as our staff going toe-to-toe and each getting a chance to work here within the box, go play some hands against each other. So we'll take a break here. We'll be back with more of Texas Card House Live.
Asa in 5, Sam in 7, Jeremy in 8, James in 10.
Hot mic. What? Just remember, your mic's hot. No, yeah. Gotcha. He's gone.
Okay, so James is.
I'll play.
I'll play. Can I play this one too? Can I play this?
Yeah. So who? Just play your hand. Just play your hand. Just play your hand. For simplicity's sake.
Big one.
You're big.
Heck yeah, three-handed. I'm wanting all the pots now. And the button. 75.
Raise 75. Fold.
Well, the action's back here as players back to their seats as the cash game resumes and bring out a raise here from Asa. This will raise it up to 75. Sam's got ace 10 off suit. We'll call in position here on the button as we figure out what Asa's hand is. And he's got queen 10 off suit. As we'll go to a flop heads up. Ace has been on a tear lately. He's been playing some really good poker on his days off. You can follow him on the old gram at Asa Texas Card House. Folks, he doesn't do it for the gram, he does it for Compton. The wise words of Kendrick Lamar as go heads up here as
What? You're playing my stuff again?
we follow the action as okay, all right, it's Carolyn that's in her seat, so before we go to a flop, ladies duking it out. Carolyn on flops her. Can give Asa a big thanks there. An untraditional raise is. Again, we're playing this for fun, no real money on the line, but also a good chance as me for a commentator to try to break down the action and get a bet and a call here by Sam in position, and no backdoor draws or anything, not really blocking anything, but ace high can be good in this spot and takes a card off and lets it go. Carolyn scoops a nice pot to chip up here to $2,500. Clearly the most chips on the table here as
I didn't mean to cut you off.
I was just gonna, it's not important or.
I was frustrated.
we'll continue just about four-handed here or so.
Not go to a button blind or anything like that, just bring it by all around.
The key thing is before the hand starts,
Many of these folks, their night off here on Monday,
it makes such a huge difference because you still had to back him out of the hole.
coming on in here for our Monday Madness game.
Yes, seed A is up.
So I must be.
He bought the blind here first.
And the cards are out. Here we go.
Raise to 30. Call. Fold. Raise to 110. Hold on, guys.
Looks like we got a raise coming on the button. 85 is. Carolyn had opened for 30, and then a raise to 85 by Tim. Catch up here with the action here on TCH Live. And if you want to play tonight, you can call our front desk and get on the list or jump right into the games. Here at our Austin location, phone number 512-956-7195. Again, that's 956-7195. Open until 4 a.m. tonight. As holiday hours in effect to tomorrow, as we're going to be closing at 10 p.m. So we can all celebrate and close out the decade of 2010.
Now that you're seeing.
2020 going to be riveting for all of us. As same old action here at Texas Card House with some new stuff involved, and dude, looks like we've got a little bit of a holdup happening here as
Now I don't see myself.
I'll tell you. Carolyn raised 30, or bet 30. Ace of call 30. Raised to 110.
Oh, it's not showing it because the action's not tracked, so it goes with the action.
Carolyn, ace of Tim.
so right now we're trying to simulate the how our action trackers, if a player, they go out, step away from the table for a moment, and they got to repost their blinds. There's a specific process to put in to make that happen. And well, now we can actually talk about the hands here, as Tim's had a 3-bet with a pair of queens. Up against some ace littles. Carolyn with a suited ace fours. Gonna look at her husband and say, What? You can't push me around, son. She didn't say it exactly like that, but you know what I mean. All right, here we go. 3 ways here to the flop. Queen's way out in front. And queen and 4, deuce. Kaboom, man. Second pair for Carolyn. Walk right into a trap and bets 100. Are you allowed to check race each other if you're married? Is that a thing that's legal? I know it's Texas. It's gonna have to look into the laws here as it's as right as American to check race whoever you like. Queen on the river. The value bet of about 200. It's about just about 30% of the pot as Carolyn folds, and we'll move on to the next hand as see what kind of guests we get here too. I think we're planning on building up a studio back here that anybody wants to come and be interviewed, and we could talk about what's going on with that specific hand or any of the action that has followed, or promote any of the number of meetup players that we've gotten through here. I mean, we just had Johnny Vibes come through and fill up the house with 5-5 no limit games, and we've had Andrew Nemi, Brad Owen. I forget his actual name, but the guy from the Drawing Dead vlog. He was a really super entertaining guy to have here, and a lot of people came out for that. Yeah, Marley Cordero came. She played a tournament, some cash. And
Yeah. But your just seems so weak, so I thought until you bet on the river. Yeah, but I know he's playing down.
our staff getting some work on. And that's the thing about, and you learn as a dealer, just as far as there's so many very little situations that seem very simple in nature, but to account for everything that can happen on a poker tracker just is a bit of a challenge. As the cards are out there, we see 4 players with hands, a 6 of diamonds. The best looking of the bunch. Ace has got King 9 offsuit, and these hands get so tricky when you're getting down to 3, 4, 5-handed. All of a sudden, your big combo hands, your Ace X's, your King X's, your Queen X's. The kind of kickers that you need for those to be profitable. Those cards tend to get a lot lower, but in that respect, it also leaves you open to be cooler too, because you're just thinking, okay, my hand's got to be good. There's no way that the other guy in front of me is going to be betting with the same king. I have a king, but the game gets kind of tricky that way. So King 3-10, top pair here for Asa. See if Tim's got anything with it. He makes a bet though. Says cards were not scanned. And Asa makes a call. Actually, check that. He's going to raise it up to 200, and Tim just trying to make a little steal bet on the button with the 7-4 offsuit. We'll give it up and bring it on in here to the next hand.
Tell him to put me in. I'll play this in.
Put Ryan in.
Or whoever this is.
Who put over Seymour and CD? Put them in. Yes. Got the other ones right down.
Man, the cards out here is. See who else has joined us here on the table.
With Sam sitting out.
Everybody getting some valuable screen time here as we. This is a simulation of a 5-5 cash game using our staff here from Texas Card House. We've done terrific acting thus far. All right, Ryan Crow's going to jump into the game as well. Gonna just try to watch what I say here so I don't get fired. No, we're teasing, but Ace is gonna check his option. And we'll go 3 ways here to the flop. And there's your board. Queen, Jack, 4, 2 diamonds, Ace High flush draw. Did anybody else make a pair? No, the Ace High and the flush draw way out in front. And Ace makes a little jab. And picks up the pot. Herped up. Okay. Actually, Ryan's in Jeremy's seat, so I've got that one backwards. So Ace now turns the inside straight draw. Ryan's got the best hand with a pair of aces and a diamond flush. And a river comes an ace. Aces are still good as value at 15. Ace will cough it up. So there you see the amount of that's voluntarily put money in play. Carolyn over 85% of the pots has put a chip in, and normally I think when you see that in a cash, like my experience with their tournaments when we were still tracking some of that, their poker tracker was, it tends to be in that 20 to 30 range. I think anything that gets above, long term, over 35 kind of tend to be a little spewy. And again, I'm not an expert as far as some of the numbers work, but I mean, you will have sessions just because of the sample size that the numbers are just going to look outrageous. And if you're dealing with like 30 to 40 hands, you can have some really outrageous numbers, but you can also go on quite a bit of heaters. With that in mind. Moving on here to our next stand here at TCH Live. Ryan's joining the game on here with Tim, Sam, who had Asa. Carolyn's been in as well.
She's at level 557 in Cannon Saga. She would like a cheat code to get through level 557.
No, it's Gardenscape.
Gardenscape. Sorry, guys.
What did you call it? Candy Crush? That's what Tim calls everything.
I'm ready.
Well, I used to like that.
I'm dealing Ryan.
Next hand, cards are out as players getting used to the sensors. As Ryan in the big blind with Queen at deuce offsuit. Tim on the in the just off the end of the gun, and with ace-6 of clubs. A lot of ace-6s thus far tonight. Ace has got a pair of 4s, so assuredly we'll see him in the pot, and also Sam with queen-jack offsuit.
Tim raised. Ryan called 5. Tim raised to 25. Jason re-raised to 120.
Carolyn.
125.
Check that is Carolyn and Ace's seat. Makes a nice 3-bet there with a pair of 4s in position on the button. And we'll go 4 ways to a flop with the... As we await our board here as... Flop comes 7-7-5, 2 clubs, ace-6 of clubs drawn pretty nicely. A pair of 4s still with the lead. Queen jack, a couple of overs over the pair of 4s. Tim's going to lead out 100 here to a pot of 385. The ghost of ace going to make a call here with his 4s. Gets himself a nice little Texas Roadhouse burger to come on here to the table with. 3 ways here to the turn. Here comes the 10 of diamonds. Doesn't change anything. 4s still lead. 4s and 7s, and checked all the way around here to the river. Ace on the river by Barry Greenstein. And it's aces and 7s for Tim, as he'll check it back because he's a nice guy. And he'll win it with 2 pair aces and 7s with a 10. Yeah, Tim is kind of a scary card there. I mean, it's. I think in reality, because we could see the hands, like, yeah, there's no real way to you could sit there and be like, okay, he's got 10 jack, ace 10, any of those kind of hands, but you're often put in these positions on the turn that, if you're out of position, you'd leave yourself really vulnerable to get taken over the top and not really have any knowledge of where you stand. And I think in the cash games, really, do see people tend to just play those streets either really super aggressively or just try to exercise some pot control and keep things in their favor. So we'll go on to hear the next hand. A limp pot and an ace high flop, and be a 25 bet and a bet of 15, and a quick call here by Tim. He's got queen high and backdoor spades. Heart draw, it's still king high. Sam with the best hand will bet 25, and there's nothing to draw to. Tim will back away. We're on to the next here on TCH Live. Follow us on Instagram at tch.atx, or follow the entire Texas Card House with promotions about our locations in Rio Grande Valley and Houston at Texas Card House. And that's just the same there on Twitter at Texas Card House. And you can search for us on Facebook at Texas Card House. $3K guaranteed, $150 tournament going on here tonight beyond our feature table. So our Monday Madness Staff Showdown. And we've got 3 players going to the flop. Ace head open with a 9-7 off suit. A blank board. Aces does have a inside straight draw to a 5 and 2 overs, but King Jack in the lead here for Sam. Board pairs a 6. Ace will make a bet here at 125. Sam's got 2 overs and actually technically the best hand, and she'll call in position. Heads up here to the river. And there's a 5. Ace is going to bet all in here with his straights. I don't love that as much, though. I think he's kind of just, he's getting a good laugh, but in a real game there, that's one that, well, actually, you'd be really concerned about the spade flush or any of the other kind of combo. With a board pairing, it can get a little bit, like, you really only get called there by hands that beat you. Like, maybe you might get called by 3 of a kind 6s. But there's more than one way to skin a cat. There's more than one way to bet a pot, and it's only one way to win, and that's with the best hand, which Ace did make there on the end here with a straight 3 to 7. We will get our next dealer push as looks like we'll have James back here on the table as busted out earlier. Poor James, he had made some pairs, had made 2 pair and got counterfeit, and got in a straight draw that hit by Sam earlier. So You know, he was in a pretty good position for a lot of these hands and just had their opponents wiggle out. So he comes back to the table rested and recharged. Try to see if recapture some magic here in this cash game.
Will you ask Chris who's sitting out?
Seat 8.
There's someone sitting out.
Working out for things to do.
No one's sitting out.
Go.
Can I play two hands? For deck small?
That one's been up all the time.
Yeah, it's done.
Oh, no, because they were out.
Alright, seat 4 and 5 are blank.
I didn't know I was.
Call.
See, I'm going to call with a 7-6 offsuit. Expect that Kirk's going to raise it up here 100% of the time.
No, why should I?
Raise to 35 here in the cutoff.
Don't roll your AW.
Got about 505 chips behind him, so
Oh, is Chris doing it now? Chris trusting it?
James has got queen 9. Carolyn's got queen 9.
That makes sense, right?
Asa and Sam both sharing a connected 6, though Sam with the 7, Asa with the 5.
You move the big blind and small blind to
So you
the
put the small blind and big blind in the position they would be after the next. What would be the next hand?
James, he's thinking.
Make sense? So you put it in the position
Call.
Yeah, don't make the call here on the button here with the queen 9 offsuit.
and the person that's
Carolyn has amassed a massive chip stack here.
the amount that they're posting.
With queen 9 offsuit, we'll make the call.
big blind and small blind on the same spot.
We're going to have a fan family pot here as we go to the flop.
5 players, let me know when you're ready.
Ace Jack, clear leader, but we'll see once we get the 3 cards out if that still remains. As
Is that why?
Queen deuce 7. Pair of 7s here for Sam. Pair of queens here for Carolyn and James, both sharing the same kicker with a 9. Ace Jack gets no part of it. It's a bet and a call. Riverboat Kirk's going to come along here as can't wait to get his money in. All right, here we go. 4 players. Turns a 3 of spades. No real draws for anybody here. Carolyn thinking she's got the best hand. Is tied currently, though, here with James, but yeah, when you get 2 players that happen to share the same kicker, that just tends to go to the aggressor, and that's easy to say, even harder to execute. And James says, "All right, time to quit messing around. Here's a raise to 400, and that'll put the pressure on Carolyn here with a pair of queens." And she's not buying it. Now Sam with a pair of 7s and a 6 kicker has got a lot easier decision to make because we'll give it on up.
Heads up to the river.
River comes a 5, a spade. Carolyn will check, James will check. And they'll find out they had the same hand the whole time. Isn't pure poker fun, folks? Sometimes you have to take the long way around to get to the end result. And oh, look at that. Even the poker tracker keeps a note that the extra 5 chip is going to go to the earlier position. got about 15 minutes more here of our cash game happening on here on TCH Live. If you want to interact with us, you can certainly do so there in the chat box on YouTube. For Twitch streamers there, ask us your questions. Do you have anything personal that I can't answer? I really want to know, like, some good chili recipes, stews. I mean, we're getting to the winter time here. I want to know your wintertime foods. Because face it, folks, life lived is done with a great diet. And if you want to eat good here in Austin, Texas, you don't have to go too far. And if you do come here on Saturdays, you can enjoy some Rudy's Barbecue at around 7 to 7:30. Goes along with our free roll tournaments that we generally have on most Saturdays. We'll have a special tournament, though, this Saturday, the 15K Guaranteed Re-Entry Tournament for Chris Moneymaker. But Texas Card House, check that Texas Roadhouse tonight as our food being catered in. We're four-handed here in the cash game. Ace 9, Ace Deuce, 6 Deuce, and Queen 7 offsuit. Ace away out in front. And still out in front, but nobody's really flopped much of anything. See if anybody takes a stab at it. Carolyn will here on the button with ace high. Check to her. Makes a bet of 30. I don't think anybody's going to call her here unless somebody decides to get it really ambitious and make a check raise. And just feasting like a shark here this evening. Well, Kirk has come out to see the pre-flop raisers here, and all across the board, you've seen all these players. They want to come in, for a raise. And pre-flop raising at about 36. You've seen the VPIP at the 80% mark for some of these players here. It has been a ridiculously wild cash game. Now, keep in mind, none of these are actual chips in play, or else all of my coworkers have more money than I could have ever possibly expected. And no regard for any of it, as we tease a little bit here. It's been kind of fun watching this. You know, for us as staff to just kind of get used to this RFID technology, and me as a broadcaster to see how this action unfolds is, that's the real challenge here before we launch, is to, understand how all this works and get in that kind of flow state where everybody's working together, the actions follow along well, and we can cover all these little situations that pop up, and make sure that our experience of the game here is safe, secure, and done correctly. As I think we may have a misdeal as pair of queens was somewhere in there, but nobody there to play along.
I had nothing. No draws, no nothing. No, not even the first one. Oh, yeah.
We continue our cash game, 5-handed. Ace will give his hand up as it's like we had is this a triple straddle? Kirk will come back here, and he's most certainly is going to be here with 7-3 of diamonds. And God bless him for it. See there, James. I think James is ready to get an Oklahoma game there. He's got a chip on each card. One of the more fun 5-10 mixed limit cash games that we run here at Texas Card House. I've also run some 10-20. But if you want to raise the stakes up here in a limit mixed game at Dealer's Choice, I mean, stop on down here. We can get you on a list. Flop's going to come out 10-4-7 with 2 spades. Top pair for James with a 6 kicker. Draw here for Sam with an overcard. Drawn to a 9. Sam's going to lead here for 200. Doesn't think anybody got a piece of that or has spades.
Bet 200. Correct.
Kirk thinking here. He's got second pair. He knows he may be ahead of Sam, but what about behind him? And it says Geronimo and shoves there with second pair, the pair of 7s. James now with a decision and will call with his top pair with the 6 kicker. Carolyn with a pretty easy decision and mucks. Sam's committed about 200, only about 110 more to call. And James at this point a 59% favorite. As we go to the turn.
No, it's part of my technique. I don't know. I'm assuming it was out there. Yeah.
And the turn comes a deuce. The harmless, innocuous, carefree deuce is.
Oh, you're such a bad sportsman. Remind me.
And a river at 10. 3 of a kind for James, easily out front. He'll make a bet here on the side. I get no callers. And the woes continue here for Kirk. It came in like a wrecking ball and not going to have to reload if he wants to get back into the game. Carolyn's pretty much wiped everybody clean here tonight. It's been a ferocious shark on the table. No fear here on our Monday Madness Texas Card House Staff Showdown. We've had a number of different employees, staff members, floor managers. We have Ryan Crow on the table here at one point. As we simulate our Texas Card House experience here on TCH Live.
How dare you not hit my straight draw? I mean, my best shot was straight draw. Now you're
Can you believe it, folks, though? This is the end of 2019. Tomorrow is literally New Year's Eve. And, you know, for me, I was living in Iowa at the start of this decade, working at a little radio station. Would later move on to go play poker in Wisconsin and work as a dealer a little bit later on. But to start this decade at a really small radio station in remote Iowa to being here in Austin, Texas, which I had dreamed of for so long, to make it here and to be broadcasting poker is a second to none experience. So we are thrilled you're joining us here on Texas Card House Live. Give us a shout on Twitter at Texas Card House. See if we can get a text line going for anybody who wants to chime on in. 2 pair now for Carolyn. Kirk's going to lead out, though, with the king deuce of diamonds. Here for 25 into a pot of 90. Got the old backdoor diamond draws. He's got the faith. Carolyn here with 2 pair, going to raise it up to 65. Small raise. Excuse me, that was 85. Don't know what James's cards are, but see if he puts that over the radar again. So as it stands, Carolyn currently in the lead with 5s and 4s,
But it doesn't still give you pre-flop action.
depending on what hand James has. And Jack of Diamonds here on the turn. That does give Kirk a flush draw. Yeah, and he fires 200 here on the turn. James going to give his hand up. Move to 5s and 4s. I wonder if Carolyn's going to make a raise here, and she will. Raises up 300 more. 7 outs here for Kirk. His king's no good. No draw to a straight. It's only diamonds. And out of position here is, you see, way behind Carolyn, and chips up even further here with their 2 pair. James has rebought into this game as sitting with 2,200. Carolyn with the most chips in play there with 3,200 as well. Action winding down here for the night here on TCH. At least for our live stream, our main room's still going strong, and expect that will continue here into the rest of the evening as, again, we've got 1-2 no limit with bomb pots going on right now, 3 tables going. A 1-3 no limit table. Again, those with bomb pots, 2 tournament tables also going on as well. And during your holiday vacation week, no better time to spend than here at Texas Card House. The ace is going to make a raise here with ace 4. Kirk Tutter going to make a re-raise there. With a king 10 off. And I like that aggression there. He came ready to play. And we'll see how many times we run it here. As Sam's got 9-8 high. Kurt's got king 10. And I mean, not the way the book would say to play it there, but since maybe he can get the rest of the players out and isolate heads up, and he got a dream matchup as a 65-35 favorite. Flop number 1 goes to Kurt here, pair 10s. Let's see what board number 2 looks like. Or, excuse me, that was Sam. Sam had flopped the nuts. Got that one backwards here. So King's 10 still alive. Will win the second board. 9-8 taking the first one, flopping the nuts. And now to game 3. Who will survive? It's looking like King 10 in the lead thus far. Pair of 10s. Still the draw to a jack. And King 10 offsuit is going to take 2/3 of this pot. Sam will get a little bit of money back. But yeah, that becomes quite a debate here in poker. That we see it a lot here on the cash games. You know, people want to run things once, twice, 3 times. And, you know, as a dealer, if you run it 3 times, I'm kind of gritting my teeth a little bit. It's like, oh boy, now I got to do all this math. I got to split up the chips here. And then if you just say, like, have a chop on one of the boards, and, you know, then the math gets a little bit complicated. But that's why we have great staff here to train us for each of these things. And, you know, we're more than happy to do so. But it's, you see it often, you know, players get their bunny and all in on the flop or before the flop, and you say how many times you want to run it, and invariably, like, we generally just tend to see players try to run it twice, and I think if the percentages are really even, like, really your best bet's to try to run it 3 times. I've really liked that strategy more than running it twice, where, you know, especially if you get isolated heads up and there's not a whole lot of money in the pot, and, you know, if you've gotten all the blinds to fold, there's just $3 in a 1-2 no limit game that, you know, running it twice doesn't really serve anybody except, you know, if you get a little unlucky, you get to keep your money back, or, but I like the 3 times method here, and glad to see our TCH live stream with the method of how we'll do that there demonstrated by Tim in the box. Table filling up here as Kurt had made a 3-bet raise to 600 earlier. We'll get out of the way. Sam's going to jam in King 6 of spades. Asa had opened the pot here with Ace 5 off suit and flips the chip in and say, let's gamble. There's a classic matchup here between your Ace 5 off suit and the King 6 of spades. Who are you rooting for? Oh, the King 6 of spades is a pretty hand. Ace has got the Ace of hearts and still out in the lead. Pair of queens, Ace high here on board number 1. Round 1 goes to Asa. Here comes round 2. Still Asa with the lead. At Ace on the turn. Flush will brick here on the second board. And Asa had his infinite wisdom calling there with Ace 5. Way out in front of King 6 of spades. And chips a lot. Chips up here to 1,100. Mike Kimball with you here on the live stream here for TCH Live. It'll be interesting to see what other kind of broadcasters we bring along here to ramble on with and to analyze, to talk about the things that go on here at TCH. It was unbelievable to me to even have this opportunity, and I heard rumblings for a while that this was a possibility. I kind of heard in the summertime they might have been thinking about this, and then didn't try to ask too many questions. Just said, boy, if we get this would be totally terrific. And just I wake up feeling pretty excited here today. So we're gonna move on here to an Omaha round. Sam has chipped up and added some more to her stack. This is where the action gets great here. Let's Omaha hands. We're going to be taking some flops with.
Oh, I thought you said action little C2. I didn't. Oh, sorry. What was it?
Raise to 20. Yeah, he's done. He's out. He folded. He folded, then Sam raised to 20. Call.
No, 25, but it's pot limit, so she can only open it 20.
Good question, though. You didn't want to ask, are you sure?
Not some exclusive Omaha hands here, but see if Ace or Carolyn wakes up with something there in the blinds. Get the Queen 776 for Kirk, the hanger of the Queen of Clubs. Ace has got actually a pretty nice hand. He's got Ace Queen 8-5 suited of hearts. Hand I probably like the most out of that before we do see the flop is probably that Ace 8-7-6-4 double suited. But after our flop, King Queen 8, Ace with 10-8s, middle and bottom as Carolyn makes a bet out to 50. Sam with third pair will give a call. Kirk has nothing but a pair of sevens. That's not going to stop him getting involved here. He's sensing some weaker hands, and he's going to make a raise here on the pot. Kids, do not try this at home or without parental supervision. Going into beast mode here in a big raise with nothing but a pair of sevens and no draw. Folks, that's why you got to let the artist work sometimes. So bring it back to Carolyn. He's got a inside straight draw to a jack. Maybe a backdoor diamond draw.
Sam folded.
Raise currently up to 370. Ryan got out of his hand. Now here with a tough decision with queens and eights. Carolyn does call though here with ace 10-9-3. And if you're a jack of diamonds on the turn, Broadway for Carolyn, and she checks. Let's see if Kirk falls for it here. Check. No, I misspoke. Kirk did have a pair of queens there. Didn't quite have nothing per se, but an ace is going to make a bet here on the river. It does make a straight. Chop it is. Carolyn trying to induce a bet there on the turn and gets a little unlucky at the down at 10 of clubs.
Well, they have to put it in.
This was expecting somebody's going to bet behind, and I believe also turn a diamond draw with that as well. So the 10-9 of diamonds. So also turn straight flush draw on top of having Broadway. It winds up splitting the pot. And poker kind of a cruel game like that. You go from the worst to the best hand to splitting with somebody. And right there, Carolyn and ace are going to chop up the pot here in PLO. You know, an ace could make that call there with queens and aces. We've seen Kirk just his chips with just about anything that, you know, normal spot, especially in a game as deep as this, like, you know, queens and eights on that board is just one that, you know, if I'm in that seat, I'm throwing up a little bit because, you know, Kirk could have king eights and he could have a set and some. Really hard to put him on a hand here in this session, and 0 Fs have been given. Carolyn also making a hand there on the turn with the Broadway straight and the chop coming, so. Move on to our next hand of PLO. Kirk will call here with Jack 7-6-4, 3 spades in his hand. James got King Queen of spades. Says, hey, why don't I raise this up to 20? Ryan's got Queen 9, a 7 deuce. We'll speculate. Not only that, it's going to 3-bet it to 50. Does have the best heart draw. Really the only heart draw. As we wait to see if Ace's hand has still been read, as Sam with the 8-5-3. Suited ace there for Ace. Flop comes 10-7 deuce. 2 pair. Here amongst our last hands. James will check. Ryan with bottom 2 here with 7s and deuces. Gonna bet 75, a little feeler bet. Ace of calls here with top pair with a pair of 10s. Sam, not much of a decision to make. We'll get out of the way. James with some overcards, a pair of deuces, and potential backdoor heart draw here from Ryan as well. Here comes the king. Goes check, check. River comes with 5 of clubs. Still got the best hand with 7s and deuces. Does he want to show it? Yep. It'll scoop a nice pot there. Classic queen 9, 7 deuces, 7 deuce of hearts. Carolyn has been the big winner here in this cash game session. Is a 3,200.
That's it, Nathan, that's it.
Okay, hey, just muck my hand and muck Kirk's hand. Kirk, I want to show you something in the back real quick for this. We're about to wrap up the stream. I want to show you something before we turn it off.
Couple more hands left before we call the night here for our live stream. But if you do want to continue to play into the room, you can stop on down to Tech House Austin. If you want to reserve a seat here, either into the tournament or any of our number of cash games we have going tonight, call the front desk at 512-956-7195. Visit us off Anderson Mill here in Northwest Austin. We're open here until 4 a.m. tonight. Going to be open only until 10 p.m. for our staff here to celebrate New Year's Eve and ring in 2020 here for New Year's Day. Again, our Chris Moneymaker series is coming up. Again, a Celebrity Poker Series with Chris Moneymaker, 5-5 and 130 limit cash on the 3rd on the Friday. $150, 15K guaranteed re-entry tournament on Saturday the 4th and on Sunday the 5th. No limit hold'em, mega stack, $100 buy and $200 bounty. Ace Jack 10-8 here for aces. He 3-bets at the 120. James will hop on here with the Queen 10 4 double suited. The only diamond draw, and Sam also with 9-7-7-5. All right, 4. Everybody's got a crack at this one. We'll see who hits the flop. Is Queen Jack 6. And it's straight draw now for James. Carolyn's got a pair of kings. The ace has also got an inside straight draw to a queen. We do see there are 2 queens already out there, though. Does a second pair of jacks. So Carolyn opening bet here with her top pair. Backdoor. Sam will get out of the way. We'll go 3 ways here to the turn. And the turn comes to 9. 9 to king straight here for James and Peel. Damn, he's going to pot it. Also gives us draw here to Asa, and it's the question is asked, is Asa feeling dangerous? Feeling very dangerous. Going to get it here in the middle. Not knowing the 2 of his queens that he's drawing to are dead, but he does still have it to either pick up a spade flush draw or an inside straight draw to. James also has spades too, and we'll bring out a king here on the river. So James was having some pretty bad luck earlier on in this session. Gets a scooper duper here on the with a 9, a king straight. So now up to 4,000 after busting out earlier in the session. And a little bit more to smile about than he had earlier. And a number of the statistics that we can track here, and the aggression frequency here is also got your pre-flop plays percentages. Carolyn has raised the most hands at 36% of her hands played has come with a pre-flop raise, and you know all you need is one person to kind of jam up the pot. And you know every player has had their part. As far as raising with some frequency, raising in position, raising out of position.
Can we play a different game, maybe cribbage?
As we move on here to the next hand up here low. King 9-4 here for Sam. Carolyn's going to call here with 9-6-6-5, a suited 6-5 of spades. Sam electing not to pot it. See if anybody acts behind and have kind of a hanger here with a 9 of clubs. I mean, it's suited king 4 of spades. Looking like a smarter decision there as a flop becomes to ace queen 5. James trying to get his cards read, and we'll show queen jack 4 deuce double suited.
All right, check, check.
He's got an inside straight draw to the wheel. Let's check the Sam, and she'll make a bet with her kings. And always funny how that kind of works out too. Is that
All right, you want to do a chip count?
you get an ace flop, especially in Omaha, it's just
That was
kind of a death sentence for your hand, but it gets some kind of chunky combos and all that kind of stuff, and yeah, felt pretty comfortable there on the end to make a bet and take down presumably what is our last hand of the night here on TCH Live. My name is Mike Emmett. We want to give a shout out here to our technical crew that has worked on this here tonight as we configure our final chip numbers and cash our players out in our Monday Madness dealers versus staff showdown. Had a number of friendly faces that you know and love here from Texas Card House playing in the game. Carolyn, Tim, Sam, Delia, Jeremy. We had Jeremy in there, Ryan, Kurt Witt, James. Do we have anybody else? We had Chris. Chris was in there as well. So we had some fun hands. These were, this is obviously play chips. These are not for real money, but a little bit of pride there. You still want to have some fun and splash around, and I feel like everybody did that here this evening. So that is going to wrap things up here on our cash game session tonight here on TCH Live. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you at the next one, folks. Good night.
It wasn't so like when he did his all in bet, it wouldn't allow me to put that into the max. It just add a like 1, 2, 3, 35. Like they're all in. Because then it still has Kirk. I don't know where.
Well, that's what Kirk got.
That's 1,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I had him confirm his because I was able to fix it, but I couldn't fix someone else's stats. 2, 3, 35, 4. Are we making this stuff? The counts are going to be off because when there was an add-on to Kirk stack, it was never entered in.
That's fine. I'm not even gonna check right now. So I wanted to show Carolyn and Asa something real quick. If you got just a second.
Yeah.
So
4,085.
real quick, when
I ran it up that much. I'm serious.
so
And would you do the bet?
so right now, if I have all these people in, so this is
I don't want it.
So
make it
set
up
up like this in Tim's
Hey, we
coming
came
in,
back to him.
what you essentially do is,
Tim. We had to rebuy, but we doubled
so,
it
so,
up.
so someone's buying the button. What happens is you come in and it has to be the person between the dealer and the small big blind. What you do is you leave these where they're at. I know you just you leave it there and you push on this and he buys it. Now you still leave the small big blind, it like overrides it. You just leave it there, and if I hit go now, the action is not going to be on Kurt, it's going to be on James. Watch. So it's on James.
Nice.
Right, so it reads it automatically.
That's perfect.
Yeah,
That's
so
way easier.
Yes,
makes
and do the live straddles. Instead of doing the bet, you actually come in and say, okay, he's going to live straddle for 10.
Oh, that's so. The way it sounded like it was going to be
Yeah.
super
Now,
confusing.
you'll see the action's going to start on Kurt, not on Kurt. Kurt, not Kurt. So then,
That makes
boom.
sense.
And then they get the option. That's right. So that's what we
I like
think
it.
that's what they're able to test. Those two things are probably what caused the little $5 off that we had before.
Probably, yeah.
But now we know. And then what they were saying is before the hand, you can Annie, Annie, and then 20, and then go. And then boom, everyone's put 20 in. It's just, and then you just, if it's a bomb pot, and you're gonna do it, then you just call around.
But doesn't that also do an ante and still the big blind? Still the blind?
It actually
It
does.
works, yeah.
I'm not, well, that's a good point. So if you're doing it, so you
That's
don't,
why I'm thinking it's
there's
just
no
easier.
small and big blind on the bomb pot, right?
No, it's basically him calling $20.
That's
It's
so
basically
It's like everybody's calling a $20 raise.
yeah.
It would be easier to just do it as a
Do
raise.
it that way and then just move the button back on the next hand.
Yeah.
And then move the button back. Yeah.
That just seems like,
You gotta remember.
because you'd have to go back and change those to 0.
It won't let you, you can't do it, it won't let you do it. So you have it, Okay, cool. Great, guys, this was awesome. Man, after today, I'm feeling pretty good. I mean, it looks solid, so.
So is there a link, gonna be a link for this?
Yeah, YouTube, search for
type
Brian
Brian
Crow live stream, and it comes right up, boom.
Yeah.
But go check it out, watch it.
Well, I wanna hear what it is.
Yeah.
Did Matt do commentary?
Comes in, yeah.
Oh, it's so funny.
I told, earlier, we were listening to it over there, yeah,
Just send out to Ryan.
it's pretty good.
No, he did a great job on that.
Pretty dang good.
Have Ryan take that.
Super professional sounding.
Bart Hanson just texted me, he's like, hey. Bart Hanson is a guy. He literally just texted me out of the blue, like 5 minutes ago.
Can we hand those chips down, please?
So he's asking about West Kutcher.
Oh, you said Ryan would take those.
Oh, no, no, it's there, but that's,
Yeah.
Dick. He's no, you have, you do it.
take a little lunch, though.
And Ryan.
Thank you, man. Everybody good? I mean, everything went okay?
Yeah, like my biggest worry is if we're having to pause the game too long, like to get so, cause like literally when I had that problem with Kurt, I couldn't figure out. I eventually
That
figured
was
out
your
how
first
to
time.
fix
Here's
stuff.
the thing. I've done the action tracker part. I mean, like it gets quick. Like you get it.
After a while, I was just figuring out, okay, if I just hit that button, I can just enter in their stat for their bet and like just work it off. And then as long as you keep the button around the bottom, everything else.
When's the first real show?
Either this Friday or Saturday. Thursday. We're doing the last one. And so here's the thing. Now we've had 4 people do it. What I want to do is when we actually stream live the first time, I want to have 2 people in the action tracking room. One person kind of watching the TV. So the very first one, we're going to have a lot of resources, right? And so I want to have 2 people, but no one else. And I want them to be able to really ultimately. I don't want them chattering each other up, but I want to have a very good team so they're able to kind of one person just absorbing and they can kind of a second set of eyes because it makes it very quick.
We want to be conscious though, because the schedule is what it is, so people who are involved in this, make sure that they're,
Let's decide now who's going to deal, who's going to action track. I mean, like
So it's Friday night. I think we're doing 5-5. Is Moneymaker gonna do it?
absolutely, yeah. He's willing to be able to.
So it'll be 5-5.
No, I think we're saying is like staffing. We expect us to be pretty busy.
Who's that guy on staff?
So one thing I
I'm
might
just saying, like, I'm scheduled to the floor, so I can't be,
sure. I mean, I'll be here
Yeah.
too. So I'll be one of the people here. Ultimately, is Asa or Carolyn available?
So Ace is the floor that night.
I was like,
Kirk is the floor in the morning. And then I've got Danny and Ace as floors that night. Yeah, Danny coming at 5, Ace at 7.
Carolyn is caging that night, Friday night.
Yeah.
I haven't watched that. Me and Tim like to watch together, and we.
What time are we doing the stream?
I was thinking about doing Friday doing a show like 8 to 2. That's what I was thinking.
So when we do
So
the actual,
what I can do, I can cover the cage that night while she's doing the action tracking on Friday. I was planning on being up here anyway.
For Saturday, though, we want to do the final indoor feature tables towards the end of it. So it would be the tournament. What time do we think that tournament?
are we gonna do a feature table the whole time?
So Saturday, I mean, it'll be late.
Yeah. No, that's fine. I mean, here's the thing: the streams. I mean, most of the stream views are viewed after the fact. Are we talking about 10 o'clock? Just depends on how we do it.
Depending how they
cool having the final table in here.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
We just plan to do it.
Gorilla.
And we're just gonna plan to do it. I mean, here's the thing. I mean, at that time it'll be a little calmer. It'll be easier to get a team in there. So let me go grab Mike.
Oh, he's behind you.
Oh, Mike.
He can't hear you.
Is Mike scheduled to work Friday?
Saturday, Mike is scheduled.
Mike is not scheduled to work Friday.
Yeah, Friday was kind of a date I just left open, but I'm available for it.
Right.
Yeah, so we're gonna actually. Here's the thing. So Bart Hintz actually long enough. He wants to hear your commentary. He was the one texting me down the road.
Oh, cool.
So he's excited.
That's where it's gonna work better.
Well, he's moving here next week. This week. But I think the idea is we need 2 or 3 commentators that are going to use this on it. I think you two are going to be kind of our first go, so to speak. And we'll see how it goes. But right now, this weekend, we're definitely going to be streaming probably Saturday night.
Yeah.
At like when the final table starts. So it's going to be late. Are you able to?
Yeah.
He's scheduled at 7:30 regardless, so.
He'll be here daily.
Oh, you are here. Okay.
Friday night he's off.
Okay.
I'm scheduled. So he'll be here.
Okay, cool. So Friday, what we'll do is we're
This is the last level. We get into a nice tournament.
plan to do,
It's a 3K guarantee event.
Now, I
Short
won't be
overlay
here
right
that
now, so if you want to get into it,
by that time, we're gonna have to,
money for
I
that
just need an action tracker, a commentator,
tournament.
and I need to go over, do I need some of these
Come
dealers?
to the front desk, just walk over to the cash to tournament play, and we'll get you a nice tournament.
because I'm working in the morning and then I'm at the cage Saturday morning. Plan on being here for a while.
For the
And then
first,
Sunday, same thing, we're in the cage all day.
for the first 2 or 3, I want to be free to jump between the stations, but ultimately I can do action tracking if I need to, but the first 2 nights, I mean, it's not, it will be very bad, if something happens there, or here, the camera gets frozen, I have to get up and do it. And as you know, when the action tracker gets off, it's almost impossible to get back on.
Yeah, it happened to me. Like, one chip stack was off.
Yeah.
No, I'm gonna go drink.
7:50 overlay right now.
I'm gonna go drink.
What's that?
7:50 overlay right now.
Yeah,
That's a hospital when you only need 20 people.
Because I only have 15 entries. That's all.
we have 3 tables?
I have 2.
No, only one is one's cash.
So on Friday when we have the live stream table from 8 to 10, it's gonna logistically what's gonna happen.
Okay.
We need to know that. Like,
Yes.
is it gonna be an existing game that we have them wreck all their chips, move here for 2 hours, and then move them back to a table, or are we gonna just spread a game on this table, and just
What if we
start
I
tracking?
mean, we could do the full blown show, but I mean, I guess the Moneymaker's going to start around 6. So maybe we start with that on the gosh, let me just think. 'Cause I'm just thinking about something fly off the fly. So
Well, the thing is everyone's gonna want that.
I know.
That's gonna be the problem. So,
Well, we're gonna I mean, we have to figure out how to do that logistically. I mean, with Moneymaker, the good thing is we can actually charge a premium to go cash game. You know, whatever, $20. You sit down.
everyone's gladly say that.
$20. I don't know. I mean, I don't want to think we're gouging.
No, I think 20 on top of your hourly is
Yeah.
fair for that. Yeah. Because we were originally just gonna do an extra 10.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's fine.
The Moneymaker.
I'll say 20. I don't think 20 is reasonable. What do you think?
I don't care either way. I just want it to be
So-
transparent. So, like,
right,
it should be like on
so
the
I think-
website. People know that before they come in the door. Like,
Yeah.
it's that if they want to play on this table, that there's gonna be a premium. Like that should be published someplace before then.
So here's the reason I was thinking I only want to stream 2 hours because I want Moneymaker to rotate around and be on those tables.
Right. That's important for them being here so that everyone can play with them. So.
I mean, they recommended him and his guy recommended we have a feature table with him in charge to be on. That's the way the TV streams at the table.
Yeah. Because I don't care. I don't care personally. I'm indifferent about it. I just think it needs to be published sooner
No,
rather
I like
than
having them move around. The problem is, the main thing is you're only gonna do it for 2 hours. Let's see if we need to get it back up, get it back in somewhere. So you're probably almost best.
Here's the thing, they can keep playing on the table. We'll just switch out the cards and just keep playing.
Yeah, for sure.
That's
They don't
obviously that's an option.
I mean, I would love just for it to be fully have to use the table.
Just let everyone know when it feeds off.
But that's the thing is like if they're choosing, if whatever game we spread here, we have to make sure the players know before they get to this table that
It's gonna be
from 8 to 10 it's gonna be. And just from 8 to 10, or are we
Well,
gonna
I
do?
would like to do it longer, but I'm trying to.
I would think I would do short on the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
3 max, maybe 2.
I think like a normal
the problem
sporting
is
event
if
is not
people
gonna be
are
more
paying
than
to
3
go out, I
hours.
mean, like, for 2 hours, it's not that long. I mean, like
Can so what if I mean part of the thing like just doing the auto
We could do that.
for a little bit like before or after the show.
Yeah.
Like
Do it for 2 hours
could-
with commentary and then do auto for 2 hours. And you get 4 hours.
or you can start the game here with Chris Moneymaker on it, and it'd be a lot. But you have to need someone to track the action though, right, or not?
yeah, I mean, if we have here and we're gonna have a commentator here, I mean, there's no reason not to.
What
try
day
it.
of the week is this? Friday?
It's Friday.
Am I working
Your
Friday?
cage would only cover the cage while you action track.
Okay.
And
So-
in the second you're done, you need to get back in there because I gotta be at 6 in the morning next day. So.
Deal.
So why don't we just, what Moneymaker's getting here at 6? Is that right?
I believe we're starting at 4.
Okay. Let's do this.
I just booked this hotel today. So.
Whatever you want me to do, I'll do.
Yeah. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Let me just check.
I think the biggest hard part is who's going to be on the table and how you decide who gets to be on the table.
I think
We start
having
a wait list.
putting it out now as soon
Put
as
it out now
possible
because you get a wait list.
and getting people's names at ASAP and then first come first serve. And you have to hear in house before
No,
the
I think they
table
should have to
opens.
pay a $20 deposit up front.
Deposit or additional fee?
Well, a deposit that is their fee, basically. They just front.
But they're not. It's not going towards their regular hourly fees, right?
No, no, no.
It's in the
There's their
You have to
hourly.
pay $20 plus your hourly to be on the table. That's what it costs.
So that's
Right,
what I'm
right,
saying.
right.
The first
So, but
9
we
people.
still would need to get a list going, and we should do it as soon as possible.
Regardless of this guy's
What I'm saying is they pay ahead of time, they'll be here.
not necessarily not $20. That's the thing. is
No, I
like,
think you make it very clear that
then you make
it's
it for
first.
$20.
You know, and you make it. You say you take
No,
as many
but
games as you need to,
yeah.
and the first 9 people in the room on that day. That's just encouraging people to come in earlier, which is good. We want that.
Well, I think we start in here at 4. We start this table at 6.
Yeah.
And then we just announce through Facebook or whatever. We're taking a wait list for the room, for the table. We have to leave a $20 deposit to get on the list. The first 9 people in the room
Right, exactly.
of that wait list get on the table. And then after that, it's just wait list.
And if they never get on, do they get their money back?
Of course, yeah. I mean, how you develop your wait list after those first 9.
We just say that the live stream is gonna.
I mean, we basically got to do it on the wait list tracker up there and just have it.
Just have a game, it'll be whatever. Get 2 different 5-5s, so we can label it special somehow.
Ryan would have to go in and change the labels in there.
Yeah.
At least that way it's up, it's transparent, everyone knows.
So if
everyone knows
people
who's
want to
next.
call in and get on there, they can't. They have to come in and give us
Doesn't matter,
$20.
the first 9 people in the room that have paid the $20 deposit get on the table.
Right, but if somebody calls and says, I really want to be on that list, we're not going to add them to the list until they get us $20.
They don't, yeah, they can't get on the list till they've given us
And they have to come in and give us $20.
So if these,
It does also just encourage
So I
people
mean,
to come in
I'm
beforehand.
not sure there's any.
that may be a terrible idea.
People are gonna come from out of town. I mean, they're gonna be
Yeah.
options to do that, and I'm a little leery to do that. Okay.
I mean, we could just,
What if we make the game that he's on here a 5-0? Make it a little. Does that make it a little more?
What's the, I mean, you have to, what is the minimum buy-in? 1K?
1,000.
Minimum 1,000 buy-in.
I mean, it might shorten the list a little bit. But there's a lot of people who will find the mid buy-in just to get on there. Who would not normally play 5-10, but would.
And that's gonna be the
just for
hardest
that.
part, is who gets on the table? What rules do we,
I mean, that could be a really good, juicy game. Like, I think we need to be streaming it. I think we start the stream at 6, and I mean, here's the thing. All I need those two people. Okay? To stream from 6 to 10, we can do it. Now I need someone to be able to relieve Carolyn and someone to be able to relieve Mike for
So the
Grace.
dealers, most
But
of
I
the
mean-
dealers will not have done this.
No, so
Yeah.
I can,
So we would need a dealer that's
Tim
done.
will be here at noon
On what day?
on Friday.
Scheduled at 5.
On Friday?
So, well, that's even
That's actually
better.
perfect.
That's
Perfect.
Because if we start at 6, it'll be fresh and it won't be.
I'll be even fresher if someone takes my goddamn pro shift on Thursday night. Well, we can lock maybe some of these vacation people, you know?
Hey!
Are you comfortable being locked for 2 hours?
We're going to stream, we're planning to stream for 4
We don't
hours.
need to,
I thought Friday night we're doing 2.
6 to 10.
we don't need him to be locked.
He doesn't have to
We
be
just
good.
need 2 or 3 dealers.
Yeah, so
If you have
Jeremy-
two dealers, it's
Jeremy
him and
is working
Jeremy.
late.
And Jeremy did a great job today too, so.
It's not me and Jeremy. do
JD
an hour of-
is interested. JD will be here on Thursday to train here, so we have.
Is JD gonna be here Friday?
JD's scheduled Friday at 7:30.
Okay.
So
Between those 3, we can rotate them every half hour. Yeah. We can get
Hopefully
them
I'll have it down.
Or every
to-
hour even, just to keep the stream kind of smooth. I think maybe less dealer changes is better.
Well, I think it's gonna have to pause. Yeah, I don't know how smooth it. I mean, there's definitely gonna be some pausing. I think.
But you don't want to have to pause the action again to do a dealer change unnecessarily. Because we know there's already going to be pauses because of
Maybe,
other
maybe
technical
just
stuff.
hour and a half.
Yeah, 1 hour. I'm not saying,
Yeah. So we just need one more dealer. Everyone does 1 down, 1 out down.
yeah.
but
I mean, he can do the
Worst case,
he
you
can
do
do
the
the
first
6
and
and
last.
8. He can do the 6 and 8.
Or just have to do the first lap. Just like you, then Jeremy, then JD, then you finish it up.
we're done. So today, Jeremy and Tim had time on here. We'll make sure JD gets time on Thursday. We'll just plan for those guys to be the
Are you good
dealers.
in that time frame?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
So you're here a little early.
Yeah.
And Ace is here, but he's at 4, right?
Yes.
So on Friday,
You have
I'm,
2 floors?
yeah.
Danny's the floor at 5. Ace is here at 7. They're doubled up on purpose.
No, I know. I was just trying to think that the I'll be here too soon because like you can go to the restroom or whatever.
No restroom breaks, Carolyn.
No, I mean,
That's not going to be,
I'll bring the captain.
we had, yeah, that's,
Right.
yeah,
Like you said, as long as you have those 2, you're good.
That's it,
You'll have
yeah.
2 floors handling all this. I'll be in the cage while she's here, so you'll have basically.
So one thing I want to make sure that we are not, is that we keep everyone in their lanes, right? So the floor manager cannot have to worry about like this, like
Yeah.
that there's a production team for this. All that the floor needs to know is that what staff we're taking in.
So the main thing for this is just they need to be able to do the ship pills. I mean, like whoever got
right,
it,
so
someone-
player checks, and,
Yeah.
and that's just to make sure it gets communicated to me so that,
Let it go through the dealer. The dealer will say.
exactly.
Right.
But other than that, everything else will be. I'll be here to run everything that has to do with the production side.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just need Carolyn, I need John, and I need Joe to just have the dealer.
We'll have dealers ready.
And the only thing is, every once in a while, like for 5 minutes, I'm gonna say, hey, so can I mean, if we here, there may be a scenario where, hey, just for 5 minutes, can you do everything you can go to the restroom or something, but
Yeah,
other
that's
than that,
the worst
I
setting.
don't need anything else. Now,
No, you can just take the tablet to the restroom.
I was actually thinking that, I was like, with the headset and the tablet, I could probably just do it, but.
Mute it. The dealer doesn't
No, don't mute it. It's Tim's
Where did that
doing.
sound come from?
Tim's used to it. So.
Yeah,
I
Tim,
think-
it was Tim out here.
I don't think it's gonna be that
I think
bad.
we'll be alright.
Here's the thing, I was watching, and it seemed like there was chaos here, but, I mean, what did you think? I thought it went pretty smooth.
Watching
Yeah, pretty
it, it
smooth. I
looked
mean, it's-
fine.
What about the times when there was those significant pauses?
Well, but
What did you do?
we were stopping,
Yeah.
well, he was filming,
I know, it's what I'm asking. Like, what
I'm just doing promos. I'm like, hey, here's coming up on our schedule. Here's what games we've got going on in the house. Here's our tournament schedule. Here's our.
I need to get you our January promo.
Yeah.
Actually, I just
Yeah,
posted
yeah,
it.
post that.
I actually want to know what your
It's going to post.
I posted it.
What's happening?
All right, I'll read it.
If there's anything
So it's,
specifically.
play 5 hours,
5 hours, 20%, 30%, 10 hours straight, 40% off. And that's the wild money makes you swing.
Yeah.
All the floors need to announce it in your one.
the thing is, so I'm gonna get a call from you. You've got the stuff for Austin, but with Victor and Mike, because we want to be plugging stuff in the clubs.
100%.
And so, when you do that, we have to be very specific about the location. On Rio Grande Valley, Tomorrow's
Pretty,
free.
pretty open.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a pretty broad area out there and see if we can find it.
Well, no, I'm just saying, like, you know when I announced a promo for Rio Grande Valley. So, the other thing is, you can have graphics that can go up there that I've been messing with. So notice I have the logo now at the beginning. There's the intro graphics. I'm gonna work with some of these guys to get some of those put together. There's just,
There's like a scrolling thing on the bottom, right? That can just always be scrolling stuff, right?
yeah. It's, I haven't quite got, yes. I mean, now that we're at, I mean, today, guys, went like 5 times better than the one
Really?
the other day.
We're getting the
I mean, it was
surface level,
really-
like.
And the only
Well,
part
and
that
the
was sketchy
cameras
was
were
slow was
running
action
better.
shots.
I
Here's
assume
thing,
the audio
if
better.
I can get in there and action because I've done it more than all y'all combined. I did it that whole the last 2 days all by myself, and like, I'm telling you, once you does it on Friday, Carolyn, she's gonna be an expert by the time that day's over. Like you just get it down. I mean,
Well, I
I
definitely felt pretty
there.
comfortable about
Right
it.
there at the end, I was getting comfortable too. Once I was
and
comfortable
you've
with all
done
the
it like
buttons,
15 hands. You know, so.
once I was comfortable with all the buttons, because like even where I was a couple times I was behind one with all the stops.
That's the only thing is like when you know to fix something, but you have to do it efficiently.
Well, you have to pause everything. You have to like get the dealer to.
No, you don't have to pause.
Well, not.
I mean, I don't have to get like I did it the last I did. Like I never wanted to do it. You're gonna get it to where you'll be able to fix it like that.
No, I mean, and I didn't have any issues getting them to stop. But
Like the dealer should have
if
this. I
you
mean,
get ahead, if the dealer gets too far ahead of you, and that was the biggest with, and it was the dealers were going really fast today.
Yeah, that's
The
right, yeah.
dealers paced it like really appropriately.
Steady.
It was steady. It didn't.
I think
Chris
it needs to
was-
be a little faster than today.
But you have to
It
watch
can
the
be.
screen
Well,
to
yeah,
judge
yeah.
that.
Faster. I mean,
It
like-
feels a little slow at the table, and we did have some major pauses where it was like we sat here for a couple minutes. So if we can have none of those few minute pauses,
Yeah, I think that was the hardest part about judging.
and then the pace of the actual play, the pace of calling out the action, the pace of the block during the river was really easy to follow.
I'm not that worried about it. It's gonna speed. So I did it today with Sam. Sam too. They were making meetings really fast, and I was able to keep up with it. After I had been doing it for 2 hours. So quadruple the time you just did it, you're gonna have it.
The big thing is the dealer really needs to be good at communicating.
Yeah. That's why I wanted to lock it in.
Because it's hard to look up and then look down. Like that was the biggest thing. So like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, if the dealer is communicating everything clearly and at a reasonable pace, then you actually could do it without the video theoretically.
Were y'all seeing much lag? Was it lagging at all?
It was when I was back there,
Yeah.
it felt like there was no lag.
Yeah, I hadn't tested it out yet. I think it's just there's a stronger signal over there.
That's what I'm thinking too, because it
I
worked.
had 0 lag
It
too.
worked great back there. It was a little laggy up here, and when you're first setting everything up, putting people's names in, chip counts, stuff like that,
Yeah.
that was laggy. But once folks back in there, everything was really smooth.
Yeah.
And maybe that when we are setting it up, we just get a list, or the dealer's like the tracker's back there, the dealer's saying seat 1 name, and then just reading it to make it faster, or we just get a list with all the information and it goes back there.
I think getting a list and getting it back there. I mean, if there's gonna be like a 10-minute setup
Right,
time.
because it's not going to be reasonable for anyone to go back there.
No. But somebody up here, Ryan or the floor or whatever, can get the list and then bring it back. And it
So-
just needs to be seat numbers, buy-in.
For Saturday though, I know we mentioned feature table and final table,
So what I was thinking was,
because there's no guarantee that
we're gonna start it.
Chris will be on the final table, so
Right.
theoretically you have a feature table with him while he's in the tournament,
So
right?
here's what I was thinking. We actually do two on Saturday. We do one with like early in the day when it starts with Moneymaker. We stream for about an hour or two with the table he's on, and then we shut it down. And then at night we stream
The final table, regardless. Yeah.
So how? I know you're here later,
I'll be here.
but you could be here to. I mean,
We
because
don't
right now
start
you're my only commentator right now.
tournament starts at 12:30. So we started at 1.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Go from like 1 to 2.
of course I'll be here. Jesus, I'll be here.
Yeah.
Bells, whistles, and all that.
So 1 to 2 and.
We should try to schedule when this starts around the break, so that when we're setting it up,
That's a good point. Maybe after the first, because the tournament there's two breaks. or
we
more.
see, usually it's 2 hours, probably it's 2 hours.
Well,
Once every 2 hours.
Is the entry through the first break or the second break?
It's it's extended, but the first there should be a break every 2 hours, right?
I believe so, yes.
I mean, we could slide a 10-minute break after the first. I mean, like, we can. I mean, it's not gonna be that disruptive.
No, it won't. I
Just
mean,
to put a slip a 5-10 minute break in there after the first hour. And we could,
because ideally we just seat this table. We seat this table.
Every 2 hours.
Yeah.
So after
and the break is after the.
the first break is after level 4, so that's 2 hours. So that'd be that's 2:30. That's 2:30.
Cutoff is after the second break.
Which is level 8, which is
So maybe we could just maybe start the live stream at the first break. So I mean, hopefully he can still be in.
that's 2:30.
I mean, if he's not, we buy him back in.
That's 2:40.
2:40.
That'd be 2:40.
So we stream essentially from 2:40 to 3:40. Or we stream for an hour or two then.
So you're talking about at the end of registration?
No. The break between. So remember,
first
there's a break and then the registration into the second break. So at
Yeah.
the first break, we're already having there's a 10-minute break.
Yeah.
10-minute break. We start the feed then. We move that table there.
Right. So we should just seat this table.
Just seat it and then just not start the stream until the second
This
break.
table
Wait,
with them on it.
Yeah. We'll
No,
seat
I
it
think
with.
you just move at the break. You move a table.
No.
Okay. That's not terrible.
Okay.
That's probably best. So we can guarantee that Chris
That's
is.
what they do.
Well, because when you do that,
WSOP,
as
they
everyone
put
comes
a
over,
table
they
on
can
it.
tell you their chip stacks and their names.
Yeah,
Get
we
it all in.
Yeah.
So that first break will just be longer.
That'll be fine.
It will be really interesting to see tournaments as opposed to.
Yeah, because you got to update the blinds.
You gotta
No,
change the lines.
I've already done that. I've already said I ran one as a tournament the other day. I'll show you how to. We'll practice it on Thursday.
Okay.
It's very simple. The main thing, the min chip has been updated, and you actually set it to a tournament feature table or tournament final table. Like actually, there's a setting that fixes all that for you. Remember how we said it as cash game?
Yeah.
You want to set it as a tournament game, and it kind of fixes a lot of that stuff for you.
Oh, cool.